This man called 911 and said he heard a baby crying on the bathroom, and suddenly the captain heard someone crying. He quickly grabbed a stethoscope, and sure enough, the sound of a baby crying came through the wall. Seeing this, Bug grabbed an axe to break the wall, but the captain stopped him to ensure the safety of the baby. The firefighters began digging using their hands. Soon the sewer pipe was exposed. They carefully cut it with a saw, and eventually the pipe where the baby stuck was removed. The captain used a flashlight and indeed found a baby stuck inside, but the baby was wedged in it tightly and couldn't be pulled out. So, they applied lubricant inside the pipe. Through the captain's gentle push, the baby was finally freed. However, the baby had already stopped breathing. So the firefighters began to tap the baby's chest, and another firefighter used his finger to clear the baby's throat, where a foreign object was removed. The firefighters immediately rushed the baby to the hospital. Meanwhile, a female cop noticed blood on the floor. Following the blood, they successfully located the baby's mother laying on the bed. At that moment, the girl was bleeding heavily and in critical condition, so she needed to be rushed to the hospital. The baby and the mother were both placed in the ambulance. At that moment, the baby's condition was very serious. The captain then took the mother's hand and gently placed it next to the baby. As soon as the mother touched the baby's tiny hand, the baby miraculously grabbed it, and the situation began to stabilize. These two kids buried their sleeping father into the sand, and then playfully splashed a bucket of water over him. At that moment, a lightning bolt suddenly struck. Everyone was so afraid, and they quickly fled away. The two kids checked on their father, only to find out that the sand on him had turned into glass. So they immediately called 911 to seek help. When the firefighters arrived at the scene, they found the man buried on the sand, and a large amount of blood flowing from his neck, pulse elevated, and his breathing weak. Suspecting an excessive blood loss, they needed to get the man out quickly. The two kids then felt very guilty. They didn't understand why the sand turned into glass. Buck, seeing the children scared, quickly comforted them and patiently explained that lightning striking sand turns the water to glass. Meanwhile, the firefighters discovered that a glass had punctured the man's neck, right at the artery. Luckily, it was partly cauterized. But as the firefighters dug him out, a glass also cut the artery in his left arm. They immediately applied pressure to the arm and saved him. He was then put on a stretcher and immediately taken to the hospital. Before they left, the man comforted his kids, saying he was fine and telling them not to worry.
I love you, Daddy.
I love you too.
One night, a woman was riding her bike on the road, and there was a pickup truck from behind. Upon seeing the woman not giving way, the driver accelerated and passed by her from the side.
Double yellow, pal! Double yellow!
But as the pickup truck went over a speed bump, the stop sign behind the truck flipped out and flew straight towards the woman. Sadly, the woman's aorta was ruptured, and if they remove it, the woman would definitely bleed too much and die on the road. But the edge of the stop sign was too sharp. If they left it in place, it would worsen the injury. On the road, the paramedic quickly brought a tool to block the aorta, but just as she was operating, the woman's vital signs luckily got plummeted, and they were able to remove the stop sign at the last moment. Followed by an injection, the woman's condition gradually stabilized. But what puzzled everyone was why the stop sign from the road ended up on the truck. Upon inspection, they surely knew that the stop sign had indeed been stolen. The next day, two thieves were repeating the same operation. However, they were already being watched by the cops, and when they realized that the cop was approaching, they tried to flee. But sadly, one of them was directly hit by a car and thrown into the air.